amazing run it was for the Spurs last year in the postseason. Swept the Lakers, survived Golden State, and then dismantled Memphis on their way to the NBA Finals. And then, of course, were seconds away from another championship, Anna.
The free throw drops for Leonard. Well, getting back to the Spurs, they look better and better as they went deeper into the playoffs, Clark. Heat were thought to be the heavy favorites at the start of the NBA postseason. But when they met in the finals, thoughts on who would win, I think, were pretty much split.
Yeah, and eventually, you know, this was one heck of a series because the Spurs not only had experience and talent, but they had multiple options offensively and did such a terrific job sharing the ball. They took the Miami Heat to the limit, but at the end of the day, it came down to LeBron James and Dwayne Wade rising to the challenge.
Here's Battier after the made shot from Manu Ginobili. And Boris Diaw picks up the foul. That is his first foul of the game. Bellinelli, who's checked in for San Antonio. LeBron kicks to Anderson. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot two.
Talking about Chris Anderson, guys, the Birdman. We weren't sure if he was going to be able to fly last season, but he did latch on with a very good Miami Heat team who was in need of some help rebounding, which is his strength. He still can do that and block shots as well.
That one is off. And the Birdman, a fan favorite from his days in Denver. The tattoos, his kinetic style of play, certainly drawing attention.
Well, he's an athletic presence inside at both ends of the floor. Defensively, he can slide his feet and block shots. And offensively, he's a guy who kind of hangs out on the weak side and finishes plays by catching and dunking.
Outside, Ginobili.
No luck.
Now the Heat take it the other way. Oh, and a fast break for the Heat. Cole's got the ball. From deep, it's rebounded by Boris Diaw.
Well contested shot, and they did an excellent job of not fouling the shooter.
Defense is about effort and commitment and discipline. He's a good defender because of those things. They're getting on a roll inside. Their last 3 field goals have come from inside the paint area.
The defense has to make an adjustment. They've got to string together some stops, or at the very least, try to force this team into some bad shots.
Back to Ginobili. To the inside. Parker. That falls. Nice feed that time for Manu Ginobili.
Huge advantage for them already.
And as well as they've played at both ends so far, this lead might continue to grow.
The first quarter concludes in a double-digit lead on the scoreboard. Welcome back, everyone. We're ready to get going again as this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports continues. Players are topped off with Gatorade, hydrated, and ready to get going again as well. And let's get your take, guys, on the scoring breakdown for San Antonio.
They've set the first half tone by really getting out in transition.
They've gotten their fair share of points off turnovers so far tonight, too.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Hi, guys. There was a time when Chris Bosh wasn't sure how he'd play at center. He tried to bulk up and change his approach. But he said, quote, after about 3 years, I said, forget it and just be myself. I'm never going to be big and just bulky like that. Now he says, quote, I know it's unorthodox, but I'm not going to waste my time trying to bang in the post against bigger guys. I'm just going to be all over the court. And because of that, I think I've become a much better player. Kevin?
Not the biggest guy, but boy, he is quick, Doris. I think that's one of his advantages.
Coach Popovich was fine last season for sitting out his top players in a nationally televised matchup against the Heat. I certainly understand the league's posture there, and there was a lot said about it. Yet, for a veteran team like the Spurs with championship aspirations, I understand resting key players during the course of the regular season.
The Heat making a switch here. James is checked in. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Tell you what, LeBron can absolutely soar in for the finish. I remember last year, the alley-oop in the conference finals against Indiana just almost put his head on the rim.
Air freight is a nickname we could dub LeBron James. I mean, he's an unstoppable force and an immovable object. Defensively, the strength, length, mobility. He can wall you up and lock you down and put you away.
And he ends up missing both free throws. And back to that fine for Popovich, $250,000. Steve, that'll leave a dent.
Yeah, no doubt. But, you know, Popovich enjoys tweaking the league at times. This was clearly an effort to do that. But, look, I think it's good for him to actually kind of let the league know every once in a while that if you're going to give us that kind of schedule with my older team, I'm going to sit them down once in a while.
And Parker with the basket on the assist by Ginobili. And the Spurs lead by 19.
Well, I tell you what, I need to see some more assertiveness out of these defenders. They're not getting the job done.
Yeah, that's 10 of the last 12 points they've allowed on good looks right at the rim.
Chris Anderson has checked in for Shane Battier. The Heat have gone 1 of 3 to start out the second quarter.
Tony Parker had a phenomenal 2011-2012 campaign, but as is the case with Greg Popovich, he challenged Parker to improve upon that for last season. Popovich told him good players can be great for a little bit, but great players are always great. And that really resonated with Parker.
Here's Cole. Wade. Leads him in there. Here's Anderson. The stupendous finish in traffic. Anderson's got 4 this quarter. Spurs leading by 19. Think about how great Parker's been. We forgot his career almost came to an end in the summer of 2012. This is a very interesting part in his career.
That's right. He was an innocent bystander at a club in New York when a melee erupted and bottles were thrown. He got a shard of glass that penetrated almost through his left eye. Very easily could have lost his vision and lost his career.
Shane Battier is checked in for Miami. Diallo, the screen. It's Ginobili with the drive. Great pass to set up the lay-in. 6 points for Tony Parker.
Some defensive breakdowns are starting to show up now. Their last 4 buckets allowed have come from very close range.
Giving up these easy chances is going to do wonders for their confidence. Well, what a series it was in the finals a year ago. Such great basketball. 2 teams that like to play up-tempo. And I'll tell you, the Spurs had Miami. They had the series in the bag. They were 1 play away from wrapping it up in Game 6, but the miracle comeback from the Heat that led to the Game 7 victory and another title for the Miami Heat. Foolish play. He's got to be thinking out there while he's playing.
Well, the lead's only going to get bigger unless they shore up those mistakes. They've got to tighten things up here.
The Spurs making a